condition. Oh, James! James!
All I wanted was a sweet distraction for an hour or two. Had no intention to do the things we've done. Funny how it always goes with love. When you don't look, you find. But then we're two of a kind. We move as one. We're an all-time high. We'll change all that's gone before, doing so much more than falling in love on an all-time high. We'll take on the world and win. So hold on tight, let the flight begin. I don't want to waste a waking moment. I don't want to sleep. I'm in so strong and so deep, and so are you. In my time I've said these words before, but now I realize my heart was telling me lies. For you they're true. We're an all-time high. We'll change all that's gone before, doing so much more than falling in love on an all-time high. We'll take on the world and win. So hold on tight, let the flight begin. So hold on tight, let the flight begin. We're an all.
Book now at any Thomas Cook shop and save up to an amazing £50 per person off your summer holiday. Don't just book it, Thomas Cook it.
So, 2 years in New York, and he thinks he can tell us how to run things. Well, we won't have it.
It's all right. I fix things. He's traveling overnight on the red-eye.
Not first class.
Of course not. Company policy.
By the time he gets in, he'll be exhausted. And he won't have had time to incorporate those new figures I sent him in his report.
He'll be hungry and tired.
I've arranged for the chauffeur to bring him straight here, not to the hotel.
Like a lamb to the slaughter, gentlemen.
Morning.
New Club World delivers the businessman ready to do business.
Pleasant trip.
Yes, thank you.
New Club World from the world's favorite airline.
In our delightful world, we can make anything happen. We could even make the grass greener on our side of the fence. So giving delight the taste of the country is no problem. We simply give it all the buttery taste we can. In our delightful world, there's no limit to what we can do. But our chief delight is the taste of the country without the fat of the land.
There is a Friday feeling. I get it every day. And when I get that feeling, then a Crunchie comes my way. It's that Friday feeling. It's Friday feeling. That Friday feeling's coming. I don't know where or when. But when it comes upon me, it's that Crunchie time again. The Crunchie, it's Friday. Friday
while back, Sidney dreamt that he was at a tea party and no one could agree on what to drink. Luckily, he had Tetley with him. Convenient Tetley 1 cup for Alice. The sheer quality of Tetley Gold for the Hatter. And for the hare and the dormouse, Tetley's traditional blend.
I'm late. I'm late.
No, you're not, lad. You're just in time. Now, which one's your cup of tea? There's a Tetley tea to everyone's taste.
Ha! Good news here for ex-millionaires and the rest of us who've been flattened by the stock market. The Times portfolio game pays out £4,000 a day, beer money, and £8,000 on Saturdays. But now you also automatically qualify for the Times Portfolio Accumulator, which could win you $20,000 this week. And if it rolls up, you could accumulate 100k or more.
Your personal portfolio card is in tomorrow's Sunday Times magazine.
Now, that's what I call champagne money.
Mr. Sheen, I just fly around the house.
Mr. Sheen shifts, shields and shines in seconds.
There's low finance on all new Fiestas and Escorts now at Cordoners, and 0% interest on all front-wheel drive diesels. Cordoners, Menzies Road and Great Western Road, Aberdeen.
Tonight, a classic starring Liz Taylor.
How she killed him. How she murdered him at Cabeza de Lobo. Ask her.
Doctor, it's the truth.
See how she destroys us with her tongue to a hatchet. You've got to cut this hideous story out of her brain.
How much are you willing to pay for that and buy?
With Katharine Hepburn and Montgomery Clift, suddenly last summer, tonight at 11:15 on ITV. Sunday on ITV, conflicting passions for Percy McGarrigle, a young man in a hurry for academic success.
Concentrate on your book. Success is what's important. Sex only screws you up.
But erotic distractions weaken the firmest resolve.
I suppose that's what we're all looking for. Desire, undiluted by habit.
I can't do that. You shouldn't ask me.
Academics on the make. Small World, Sunday 9:30 on ITV.
Hello, good evening. You're watching Grampian Television. The latest word now from Fiona Armstrong at 20 to 10.
The news from ITN.
Owen warns we're ready to fight the alliance for every seat. 2 young brothers murdered, a man is held. The cup tie chaos caused by fake tickets. And Broad's £500 tantrum down under. Good evening. Dr. David Owen has said he's prepared to fight any merged party for every parliamentary seat at the next election. Dr. Owen told a rival rally at the SDP's merger conference in Sheffield, "Let no one doubt our resolve or our commitment." And he rallied his supporters against the merger with the taunt, "Let the faint hearts leave while the strong hearts stay." The party votes on the merger tomorrow.
This was the SDP breaking up in sadness and bitterness. One speaker even getting a slow hand clap. Shirley Williams saying merger was right because it was the majority view. She understood the anti-mergerites leaving.
And in turn, they, I hope, will accept the determination of those of us who speak here for the majority of the members of the Social Democratic Party, that we stand firm on the bedrock on which our party was created. One member, one vote, democracy.
They rehearsed the arguments for and against merger one last time.
I am not leaving any party. I'm taking social democracy with me into the new party, just as the Liberals are taking liberalism.
One anti-merger speaker resented Shirley Williams' enthusiasm for the new party.
Well, I have something to say to you, Madam President. I won't join you, and you won't run me out.
Following last night's row, the anti-merger side laid claim to the hall tonight. David Owen made as grand, as determined an entrance as any politician, and gave us tougher warning too to the planned new party. Don't expect any deals from us, he said, the continuing SDP.
Well, let it be clear. The SDP will neither provoke nor shirk a fight. If need be, we are ready to fight every seat at the next election. No one should doubt our resolve or our commitment. But I predict the day will come when the STP is seen to be closer to the heartbeat of this nation than any other political party.
Before the meeting began, Dr. Owen's people were calling it just a business meeting, but it was very obvious that here tonight was the relaunching of Dr. Owen's SDP. Michael Brunson, ITV, Sheffield.
A new poll tonight shows Mr. Steele's standing as Liberal leader has dropped sharply over the past month. The Murray poll in tomorrow's Sunday Times shows 46% satisfied with Mrs. Thatcher, 33% with Mr. Kinnock and 23% with Mr. Steele. Compared with last month, Mrs. Thatcher and Mr. Kinnock are each down by 2%, but Mr. Steele by 7%. Concern about unemployment and education have both gone down in the past month, while worries about the health service are up by 12%. It's now the issue of greatest concern. Police are questioning a man tonight about the killing of two young brothers at their Luton home. 27-year-old Colin Munn gave himself up in Oxfordshire this evening. He's been taken back to Luton, where he lived with the boys and their mother.
The bodies of the two brothers were found together in a bedroom of the family's terraced home in Luton. Their mother, 29-year-old Jennifer Knight, found them when she returned home early this morning after a night out with two girlfriends. Mrs. Knight was herself attacked and was taken to hospital with serious head injuries. Police said she'd been repeatedly beaten with a blunt instrument. After the discovery of the bodies of 6-year-old Matthew Knight and his 4-year-old brother Ryan, police began a nationwide search for 27-year-old Colin Munn, who's lived with Mrs. Knight for the past 3 years. He'd been left to look after the two boys yesterday evening. Earlier this evening, he gave himself up to police in Oxfordshire, and he's now back in Luton talking to local detectives. Mrs. Knight is now said to be out of danger but still in intensive care. Detectives say it'll be tomorrow before she's well enough to be questioned about what they describe as a brutal and sickening double murder. Alan Cuthbertson, ITN, Luton.
The Seamen's Union has called an indefinite national ferry strike starting on Tuesday. It's in support of strikers who've been sacked by the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company. Sealink and European Ferries said the action could put jobs at risk, and tonight called on their men to continue working normally.
In the Isle of Man dispute, the ferry companies sacked 161 seamen after they went on strike in protest at plans to cut jobs, holidays and pay. The company says it will recruit new workers. The Seamen's Union see this as part of a wider plot against them.
We believe that the ferry operators are combining against the National Union of Seamen. In particular, local agreements are coming under attack. Agreements that have been negotiated freely and entered into from the last 8 years and even longer than that are being torn up. Companies are just stating to people exactly what they will do in the future. Negotiation really is a dirty word. There's no negotiations going on. It's just threat. And our people basically are saying they've had enough.
So 5,000 seamen at 12 British ports have been asked to strike indefinitely from Tuesday. A union spokesman said members at each port could decide whether to hold a ballot or not.
Israeli troops have shot and wounded at least 8 Palestinian protesters in the occupied West Bank and Gaza Strip. Doctors at one hospital in Nablus said 15 Palestinians were treated for gunshot wounds. The casualties included an 11-year-old boy who'd been shot through the neck.
Orders to use gunfire in the West Bank town of Nablus came after protests in support of the PLO swept through the community. Army units came under repeated attack from groups of stone throwers. They first tried to break them up with an aerial assault, this helicopter dropping tear gas. When they didn't succeed, a water cannon went in, but that failed to douse the resistance also. The army finally resorting to live ammunition. Shots fired down alleyways. The ultimate deterrent, which the army says should only be used when soldiers' lives are endangered. The gunfire set off panic. But not all screaming in fear.
You are not afraid from the army?
The return of rifle fire and more casualties shattered the army's orders to use beatings and not bullets against protesters. In Gaza, though, it was different. Golani Brigade soldiers crushing dissent. It was nothing more than one arrest, soldiers supposedly doing their duty. Soldiers Israel is relying on to maintain control. Brent Sadler, ITN, in Israel's occupied territories.
South African police are denying allegations that they failed to prevent clashes between rival black factions in which 5 people were reported killed. The trouble at the KTC's squatter camp near Cape Town revived memories of similar violence in 1986. This report has been compiled under South African government restrictions.
After a 2-year lull, palls of smoke once again hang over the KTC squatter camp. In the streets, residents scramble to salvage some of their possessions from burning shacks, and scores of homeless people are seeking refuge in neighbouring townships. The residents say the fighting erupted after a squatter leader was murdered, his followers seeking to exact revenge on what they call the young radicals, allegedly responsible for the killing. Police deny the violence has a political motive, describing it as a clash between rival black gangs. Observers feared the fighting could escalate as it did in 1986, when more than 50 people were killed and thousands of shacks razed in conflict between conservative blacks and the more radical so-called comrades. Squatters have alleged in court that on that occasion, police aided the conservative faction. But today, apart from a few shacks still burning, calm appears to have returned to the area, and the authorities have confirmed that order has been restored. Mike Hanna, ITN, South Africa.
And now, on a day of upsets in the FA Cup and bad temper on England's cricket tour, here's Giles Smith.
The big shock of the FA Cup came from 3rd Division Port Vale, who beat last year's finalist Tottenham 2-1. Ray Walker got the first in a well-earned victory that ends manager Terry Venable's hopes of bringing success to Spurs in his first season back in English soccer. 2nd Division Bradford beat 1st Division Oxford 4-2, and Orient of the 4th gave Nottingham Forest a fright before Calvin Plummer's goal saw Forest home 2-1. There were victories for Arsenal over Brighton and Manchester United over Chelsea, but Coventry, the FA Cup holders, are out, beaten 1-0 by Watford. The only goal came from a speculative free kick, which the Coventry defence failed to clear. A Malcolm Allen shot somehow found the head of Trevor Senior for a goal that even the Watford manager admitted had a bit of luck. It was also Cup Day in Scotland, and the holders there, St Mirren, went out too, beaten 3-0 at home by Clydebank. Frank McAvenny scored as Celtic scraped home 1-0 against 2nd Division Stranraer. But probably the most dramatic events of the day were at Loftus Road, where QPR beat West Ham 3-1. The match was held up for an hour after fans spilled onto the pitch. Watching was a group of police from the German cities where England play this summer. They'd come to check up on crowd control.
The West German police had chosen their match carefully. A big operation was already underway by the time they arrived. The West London police, though, were determined to keep the peace, despite the reputation of a small section of West Ham supporters. For a while, everything went according to plan. The police video, one of their main weapons in winning the fight against violence, was inevitably the centre of attention. But as everyone settled down to watch the match, something happened which even the police couldn't have predicted. The holders of around 2,000 forged tickets had joined a section of West Ham supporters already closely packed together. The only escape was onto the pitch. The only answer was to take off the players and find a new home for the evicted fans. But in Rangers' tight stadium, that wasn't easy. An amiable sort of chaos reigned for just over an hour before order was finally restored. The horses were marched off and the teams trooped back on. There was another short delay while the carpet was cleaned, but the whole affair had been remarkably good-humoured. The Germans didn't quite understand the joke, but they were obviously impressed, if only by the fans' patience. And that was rewarded by a second half the opposite of the shambles which had gone before. First, David Pisani giving Rangers the lead. 3 minutes later, and West Ham tore back in to equalise. Tony Cottee finishing it. But Rangers had always looked the more organised of the two sides. It wasn't long before they took the lead again. Gary Bannister curling one around the keeper. And just to rub in the West Enders' superiority, another great solo effort sealed it. This one from Martin Allen. A potentially explosive London derby had ended happily. The German police must have been the most relieved. Peter Staunton, ITN Sport, Loftus Road.
There was drama too in cricket, where Chris Broad was fined £500 for smashing a stump after getting out in the bicentenary test. The scores at the end of the second day: Australia 14 for no wicket in reply to England's 425.
107 minutes. The day began badly for England. Mike Gatting went for just 13. And then came the moment of madness from Broad.
On 139, he misjudged a ball from War, and the petulant swipe ruined a fine innings. Broad was reprimanded for refusing to walk in Pakistan. After all that happened there and the warnings that followed, this display of temper was bound to land him in trouble.
There's absolutely no possible excuse for knocking your stumps over when you're dismissed, however disappointed you are. Had no alternative. They all knew the form before the match started, what the position would be, and I fined him £500. He knows he was wrong, and that's it.
Further indiscipline could lead to players involved being sent home. A reflective Broad then sat and watched as Bill Athey built on England's solid foundation.
Good shot.
Spinner Peter Taylor applied the brake. He picked up Athey for 37. Bruce French lifted the total past 400, and as England got a whiff of victory, wicketkeeper Dyer got the strong smell of leather. A nasty blow on the nose, but nothing was broken. Marsh and David Boone survived 40 minutes at the end. They'll have to bat a long time tomorrow to start enjoying this bicentenary party. Mark Austin, ITN Sport, Sydney.
Athletics and Zola Budd's return to British competition at the cross-country trial at Gateshead brought controversy when anti-apartheid protesters tried to stop the race with Budd in 4th place. They were quickly hustled away, but it was an unhappy afternoon for Zola, who could only manage 4th place, 36 seconds behind the winner, Angela Tooby. No problems for the world's fastest man, Ben Johnson, setting another world record.